Is multifamily real estate apartment buildings better for beginner investors? If you're brand new to the channel, you probably don't know that I run something called the Multifamily Conference. It's a really big international real estate investing conference. Last year we had Kevin O'Leary as the keynote. He's passively invested in apartments. 2023 we have Grant Cardone, huge multifamily guy, along with A-Rod, who has a lot, about 15,000 apartments in his portfolio. So one of the questions I was getting a lot as I was speaking with attendees in 2022 was, hey, I'm a beginner real estate investor. Everybody's telling me that I should be doing like a condo, single family home, duplex, that kind of thing. Does it make sense? Is it better for me to invest in an apartment building instead? And this is a really interesting question, and my answer will depend a lot on my own experience. And I did things the wrong way, and I wanted to do this video to kind of set the record straight and help you if you are a beginner wondering, hey, are apartments really for me? So do me a quick favor, hit the subscribe button, really helps out the channel, hit the like button too, much appreciated. So I want to cover three key points just to keep things nice and simple. And number one, the first reason why I feel multifamily apartments are better for beginners is actually cash flow. Right? With apartments, we have the economies of scale working in our favor, right? We've got more units, our expense to income ratio per unit is better just because the scale works in our favor. A single family home, probably the worst thing you can do in terms of efficiency, right? Or a duplex, like not very, very efficient compared to an apartment building, right? You've got one roof or a couple roofs depending on the size of the property versus, a single family home. It's one tenant, one roof. Tax bills, like the ease of management, all that sort of stuff comes into it. But cash flow is important. Without cash flow, a real estate investment dies. And I can tell you from firsthand experience, when I first started investing, I was of the mindset, okay, well, I'll do a single family home. You kind of start small, right? You grow into your portfolio, start small, don't bite off more than you can chew. If I could go back in time, I would do things so much more differently. Like I call it the lost decade. If you've watched some of these videos, I talk about it all the time. So because of the economies of scale with apartments working in our favor, we have more cash flow. And what does this do? This actually creates a safety net for you. Think of it this way, right? So most people will say, oh, you start small with a single family home, a duplex, a condo, because it's safer. Is that really the case? You have zero room for error because the cash flow is either non-existent, where you're negatively geared, which means you're shelling money into the property every single month because it can't even support itself, or you're neutral, where you're just treading water, or with apartments you can get into a cash flow positive position. So let me ask you this. Is it better or safer to have a negatively geared or a neutral property, or a property with very little cash flow, or a property with stronger cash flow? I would argue that the stronger cash flow leaves you a larger room for error, right? You're a new investor, you're going to make mistakes. I would rather have more cash flow to work with to kind of absorb my mistakes rather than something that is so tight. Firsthand, I had a duplex and the drain out to the sewer, a tree went right through it. And that repair cost $8,000. That basically wiped out 2 to 3 years of cash flow for that property. As a beginner real estate investor, let's say that's your first property and that happens, you're basically done at that point because you have zero cash flow. With an apartment, the economies of scale work in your favor. So that's for the first reason. That is why I truly believe that apartments are actually better for beginners, because the cash flow gives you room to make mistakes, room to learn. It's not so tight or non-existent as is often the case with single family homes. Reason number two that I feel multifamily is better for beginners is management. And this kind of continues along the same vein as number one. What a lot of beginner investors end up doing, because there is almost no cash flow in single family home investing, they end up self-managing the property. So think of it this way. You are a brand new real estate investor, right? You haven't done this before. You're brand new. You're investing in a single family home, and now you're going to manage it yourself as a brand new investor. You have no experience. You don't know what you're doing. You're going to be making a whole lot of mistakes. To me, that is a pretty precarious position because you're kind of learning as you go. Whereas with an apartment building, there's enough cash flow, right? It's so important to have third-party management, right? You can have a more experienced property manager manage your investment for you and kind of help you and guide you and suggest renovations and repairs, because they're in the business all day long, so they can tell you what to do with the apartment. Before you buy it, you can tour the property with the property manager and come up with a game plan for the investment. If you're self-managing it, like a lot of single-family home investors do, because they don't treat it as a business, they just own a handful of properties. I think that's opening yourself up to a lot more mistakes, because you don't have somebody else in there helping you out and helping you with those decisions. How to deal with tenants, what renovations to do, how are you going to maximize your return in terms of the capex, the capital expenditure, the money you're putting into the property. So I would much rather, for a beginner investor, invest in an apartment building, have a third-party professional manager come in, and that's going to minimize your mistakes. That's going to give you such a leg up on somebody trying to self-manage the asset. So cash flow, huge, and the cash flow actually flows into management because you have room to bring in professional management, and that's going to cut down on so many mistakes. Myself, I didn't do that. I made the mistakes and self-managed on my own, and I learned my lesson very, very quickly. And that kind of brings me into reason number 3, and we'll call it partnership. The whiteboard is squeaky today. Okay, I had the thought process when I was doing the single family homes that it was myself and a partner at the time, and I had the thought process that everything had to be financed amongst ourselves. Like, we had to self-fund everything, we had to do everything on our own. And that was a really limiting belief that really kept me from growing where I think I could have gone. So it was a very limiting mindset. And I think a lot of single family home investors pigeonhole themselves into that type of mindset because, I just want to own everything. I just want to stay small so I'm in control. What apartments allow you to do. So put yourself in a beginner's shoes, right? You probably are a beginner. If you buy an apartment building, you have better cash flow, you have better management, and also there's more meat on the bone because of the economies of scale. What does that allow you to do? It actually allows you to partner with somebody who may have more experience than you. So not only do you have an experienced property manager helping you because of the better cash flow, but you're also, because of the economies of scale that we talked about, it allows you to partner with somebody. So you may not have the resources to buy an apartment building on your own, but you can do it like a condo. Well, why don't you partner with somebody who has other experience, who's interested in the same type of assets, in the same type of market? Maybe they've done it once or twice or thrice before. That is so invaluable if you are a beginner, because you can learn from them and see how they do things, and you guys can work together. That is huge. The truth is, with single family homes, everything is so tight. The most common partnership is just a two-person operation. One person's doing all the sweat equity. The other person is, signing on the loan, financing the project. That's very common. With an apartment, you could have 3 people, 4 people buy an apartment building, and you're going to enjoy the benefits of increased cash flow, more stability, better financing terms, the scalability. So individually, you might not be able to do it on your own, but together you can, and everybody's going to benefit more from it because of all the benefits that come with apartment investing. So this is huge, and you really wouldn't be able to do that with a single family home. So we've got cash flow, huge, and that's kind of starts everything down. Then you got management and partnership. To me, these are the 3 main reasons why multifamily is actually better for beginners. And I talked a little bit about single family homes and comparing it to multifamily. I'll put a link right up here to a video I did explaining all about the difference between single family and multifamily. So check that out. I also mentioned the Multifamily Conference. So go to multifamilyconference.ca. Check out the tickets right now. They are on sale right now. We've got Grant Cardone and A-Rod coming. It's going to be insane. Just wait until you hear about the after party. I've rented out an entire, basically the best nightclub in the city. We're going to be partying hard. So check that out. And like I said at the start of the video, please hit the subscribe button, leave a comment, let me know what you think. It really helps out the channel. And until next time, happy investing.